And we are back. Welcome, everybody, to the Monday night edition of the It's Too Late community live stream. I am your host, Alan Mosley. And let's give a moment for everybody to have a chance to get in here and hang out and all that good stuff. Second ad, you better believe it. I've got to keep the lights on somehow. More ads for everyone. Uh, Night hasn't turned into day and transformed the world into ash yet, so I think things are looking pretty good so far today. Hope everyone has had a good start to the week thus far. I know I have. I was actually just about an hour or two ago, I was on a program here with my friend Justin, who does social media and a bunch of video editing and other stuff for a whole bunch of different podcasts. And we were just kind of shooting the bull on what's going on in the world and kind of the transition from one crisis to the next and to the next. So I got all that out of my system already. So I'm over it. I'm over World War III already. Aaron's here. That's cool. Based Plowman. Awesome. I'm here. I'll have the stream muted for a few minutes. You're not going to miss anything. The way things have been going here lately, it takes like 30, 45 minutes to get anybody to show up, and then I log off and go to bed. So funny how that works. But the best place to watch the show is on our Twitch channel, which you can see right here, twitch.tv/Alan_Mosley. And if you are a Amazon Prime customer, this is what you can do. You can go down there to the bottom right. You can click to subscribe to the Twitch channel, and you get to subscribe for free by checking that little box that says that you're going to use your free monthly Twitch Prime subscription. So do that to help support the show. I know a bunch of people did that for us last month. I hope that we can earn your subscription once again this month. So if people are wondering why our subscriptions counter has gone down, it's because people from last month, it's been a month, so their subscription has run out. So they're going to have to come back and resubscribe to the channel. Hopefully we can get many, many, many hundreds of more. Buy the dip, sell the pump, easy week. That's the spirit. You have to have that seed money up front though. So Gibbs Meat at resubscribes with their Twitch Prime. They've been subscribed for 2 months. Kial. Yeah. Shouldn't that be Yeehaw? I don't know. But I better go in here and update the counter. I'm not one of these fancy Zoomers with all their little stream element stuff. I actually just use the typical OBS and do all that stuff manually. Well, thank you so much, Lyle. I appreciate the support. But this is the It's Too Late community live stream. I don't know how many of these Cajuns say Kial. All right. Well, I learned something today. The next time you come up here in June or whatever, you're gonna have to learn me some more on that deep South colloquialisms. I'm up here closer to Appalachia, and we don't know nothing about that. But it is the Monday night, so it is the It's Too Late community live stream, the evening of the week where we take a time to just visit with all the fans and friends and members of this wonderful community, talk about whatever is on y'all's mind. It can be anything. It can be political or serious, or it can just be something going on in your lives or something going on in the world. It doesn't have to be breaking news or anything. It's just whatever everybody has on their minds. I am here to serve. So whatever you guys want to talk about, that's what we'll talk about. And of course, obviously too, if there's anybody out there that wants to hop on the program and chit chat about whatever you want, I am here to serve. So you just let me know. In the meantime, I'm actually sort of catching up here because I've actually got a new like little side monitor here, so I'm getting used to rotating back and forth between the different screens here. I don't know how to Skype you. Um, Go to Twitch and resubscribe. It supports Alan and the show. Amen, brother. Let's talk about how about I keep sharing videos and then finding out they're fake. Nothing is real. Yeah, man, it's crazy times out there. The thing is that it's a shame, really, that we live in a time uh, that you can't just browse what's going on in the news, see something, and feel confident that you can repeat it and not be made a fool of. It's like you have to run every single thing through a filter. And that's sort of a meta conversation um, that we've talked about years in the past, long before what's going on in the world nowadays, uh, where we would talk about just kind of the meta of it's just exhausting, right? Like a lot of just regular folks out there, like yeah, I guess you could call them the normies, but I think generally normies is kind of a word that it's like a word of derision that you're saying to make fun of people. And I don't mean to make fun of people in this particular context, but just your regular Joe schmoes out there who just go to work to pay their bills and spend time with their families, and they just don't dedicate a lot of mental bandwidth to what's going on in the world, because it's like that doesn't affect me. I don't care. I got better things to do this week. And those are exactly the kind of people that they want to be able to just, flip on the news or open a newspaper or whatever for 10, 15 minutes just to kind of get an idea, kind of, put their finger on the pulse, and then if and when those people decide, well, God, I don't believe any of this crap, then a lot of those people they're just done at that point, right? Like they just give up. It's like, well, I'm not, I don't have hours on end to freaking research what is and isn't true. I got to be up in the morning, right? I got to go to work. And I genuinely feel for those people. I do. Like it's easy for some people. I'm not going to name names, but it's easy for some people to kind of look down their nose at just the regular salt of the earth tides and be like, well, you gotta do your due diligence and you gotta do your own research and yada yada yada. But you know what? A lot of people don't give a shit. Either they don't care, or like I said, they're busy living life to be reading a bunch of economic treatises or foreign policy analysis. And when they can't trust what they can access, then they just tune it out. And you know what? I kind of I kind of admire them. The whole ignorance is bliss thing, right? A bunch more people are joining. Liberty Late Night is here. I can't help but notice that Liberty Late Night is not here. Liberty Late Night is just here. So everybody who's a subscriber to my channel, give them. There you go. Give them Dave face. Aaron's here. I think they are better than the Boogaloo side quest memes. Those being better than fake Ukrainian propaganda memes. The first casualty of war is truth, says Tim Wysong. Correct. Wait, are we on Facebook? Oh, shit. Yeah, we are on Facebook. Well, I didn't mean to have that checked, but I kind of feel wrong about starting a stream and then whatever. It's chaos here. What are y'all doing, man? Is it because it's bedtime, or is it because there's a soft coup taking place, a revolt between the new generation and the former, vying for control of the kingdom? Is that what's going on? Please Kama says, sorry I'm late. Where are we dropping? I'm angry today. Don't start the week off being angry, man. That's because it's just all downhill from there. Someone asked me at work what I thought about the Russia-Ukraine thing, and I said it's none of my business. I mean, there's nothing wrong with having an opinion, um, but I think all of us at this point, any of us, no matter how informed you might think you are, I think all of us at this point should put an asterisk next to any of our opinions with, but it's hard for me to really have the most up-to-date information on what's going on the ground at this particular time. I understand that there's a lot of nuance and complication between the different factions involved and history between the different cultural and ethnic groups spanning decades. Um, so any opinion that I might have, I mean, really at the end of the day, I've just kind of reached the point where my opinion is I'm anti-war, so I hope for the quickest resolution possible, however that turns out, that results in the lowest loss of life. That's what I hope for. There you go. The ghost of Kiev is never on the ground. I mean, that's technically correct, and technically correct is the best kind of correct. Um, I found out today that according to Tom Wolfe, I support Ukraine. Well, that's just fine. See, if if people knew how to turn the tables on these freaking lefties, that what they would do is everyone would be tweeting and commenting at Tom Wolfe. Why do you support neo Nazis? Tom Wolfe is a Nazi sympathizer. There you go. Governor Wolfe, why are you a Nazi sympathizer? Something something natural gas pipelines and NATO. Man, I'm actually the other day hashtag abolish NATO was trending on Twitter. And I was like, whoa, now we're getting somewhere. Um, I'm here for it. Like NATO, UN, just get rid of all of them at a minimum. Just get America out of all of them because without America, they just die anyway. Uh, it's because there aren't enough women on the NATO board. I saw that the delegations from Ukraine and Russia were meeting near the border of Belarus, talking terms about finding a peaceful end to the hostilities over there. And some random chick, it's these liberal white women had tweeted at them, because the picture was, of course, all these men at the negotiating table, and she tweeted, "Where are the women at?" It's like, Jesus Christ, man. These people always, like, they will always have the most perverse perspectives on everything. So this chick wants to know where all the women are in the peace talks. Other people are wanting to know, want to talk about the black community in Ukraine. It's just, how can I make this, how can I make this about my agenda? Where are the white women at? Yeah, that's right. You can have them Liberty Late Night anyway. I've had my fill of white women. Aaron says, in the fucking kitchen where they belong. Oh boy, we're gonna get in trouble. Aaron, weren't you the one that was asking how to connect on Skype? So the first thing is that you have to have Skype, and you just have to give me your address on Skype, and then I will add you. I mean, I could like share my address, but I no, I don't think I will. I think I will ask for volunteers, and if people want to volunteer to join the show, then I'll hook up with them then. So anyway, our resident downvote guy hasn't downvoted us yet on Odyssey, so that's pretty good. That sounds technical, and I don't have a shirt. Well, we all have our challenges. I won't give William Gates my address. Well, I'm not talking about your physical address. I'm talking about your Skype address, of which he already has it. Alan was throwing in with the commies on Twitter. If the commies want to abolish NATO, then yeah, here we go. Let's do it. Let's get it done. I'm all about it. So, oh man, I forgot to I forgot to update my little go live message. That sucks. Oh well. Such a shame. I only saw that because I saw on Twitter it said something about playing video games. I mean, I could play video games, but that's not what I was planning on doing tonight because it's the community live stream. Alan had some fire tweets on the Twitter today. Yeah, I'll be doing that Twitter. You know, the thing is, I don't love Twitter, but I think Twitter's good to just sort of, I feel like it's better to just sort of kind of get an idea of what's in the consciousness that particular day or time or whatever than, other platforms. And frankly, my audience has been growing a lot more on Twitter. I mean, Facebook's dead. We're done with Facebook. Facebook destroyed our program. I mean, we were getting 50,000 plus views on episodes, and then they just totally destroyed it. So we're done with Facebook. So I really only use Facebook at this point just to kind of give people updates. But I do more of my fire on Twitter. So yeah. Well, we're going to have some volunteers for some conversation or for some topics, because otherwise I'll just play some more Infernax. I've been playing this game called Infernax, which is kind of a throwback to the old Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest on the NES. And I started a new character, and I named my character Dave. So it's my Dave playthrough. Uh-oh. I forgot to change my default sound to my headphones. So Aaron's over here messaging me on Skype, and it's playing through my speakers. How dare you? There we go. There was this one tweet, this Richard Engel guy, if you guys are familiar with Richard Engel. He's a chief foreign correspondent for NBC News, and Richard Engel tweeted out today, "Perhaps the biggest risk calculation / moral dilemma of the war so far. A massive Russian battalion or convoy is about 30 miles from Kiev. The U.S. NATO could likely destroy it. But that would be direct involvement against Russia and risk everything. Does the West watch in silence as it rolls? ? This guy muses out loud whether or not we should start World War III and end humanity via nuclear holocaust by bombing a Russian convoy. These people absolutely care not one whit about any amount of human suffering as long as it would contribute to their agenda. Holy freaking cow, man. So anyway, howdy y'all. Hey Swole Keesley / Ryan Seifert. Hey Anarcho Zero. Yeah, dude, it's like it's amazing how many like Twitter blue checks / influencers / corporate journalists, these talking head pundit types are entertaining out loud. Not even if, but when the United States should be rolling in, guns blazing, in this particular conflict. That not only do they have, it's none of their business, but that would absolutely risk widespread, human destroying, civilization destroying violence. Ahoy and avast, ye lubbers. See, Glenn, he's already getting ready for his post-human society breakdown. He's already moved on to the state of full anarchy. Do we let the convoy roll or do we start World War III? Can't decide. Yeah, these people, like, it's amazing how this is something I wrestle with, is that because on the one hand, you're like, these people are stupid or they're incredibly naive. But, people don't tend to get into these positions and have these platforms by being complete idiots, right? Like, they're not that stupid, but they still say things without a care in the world for what would almost certainly be the unbelievable repercussions of those actions. And they just say it as an afterthought. Should NATO push Russia into a position to use nukes? I mean, according to people like fuckwad Richard Engel from NBC News, yeah, why not? Just post up. Like, Jesus Christ, man. So, what if a small nuclear war could lower your carbon footprint? You guys are going to have to back up on that shit, because I've already got that in my show notes for Wednesday. So quit ruining my monologue, goddammit. Yeah, surprising development out of Ukraine. Handing out thousands of AK-47s to street gangs has resulted in massive violent crime. I did see the thing where Zelensky was saying that they're going to release a bunch of convicts out of jail and just hand them firearms to fight the Russians. And just the population in general. The funny thing is that depending on where you're getting your information from, like half the internet says that the Russians are losing, which is retarded, by the way. That's major R word. And that, thousands of Russian troops have been killed and they're losing all of these vehicles and aircraft, and that the Ukraine is providing this stout defense. But then at the same time, you're getting those kind of reports out of the Ukraine about these desperate measures that they're resorting to, and that Kiev is completely surrounded. If they were putting up the kind of fight that the war propagandists are trying to say that they are, then their capital wouldn't be surrounded and they wouldn't be handing out guns to convicts. Like, that is fake news, ladies and gentlemen. So the Joker is running Ukraine. That'd be more. I mean, the dude was a comedian, right? I mean, that, there's some overlap there. Gypsy women are stealing tanks from the Russian army. One of my favorite stories was where they were saying that Ukrainian women were hooking up with Russian men on Tinder and getting them to talk about their orders and their locations and stuff like that. It's like, that's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. Ukraine is only getting uglier by the day as people lose their humanity. Honestly, I think it won't last much longer, or I guess I could say I hope it won't last much longer, because quite frankly, it's over. Ukraine's lost. There is no war. I mean, at this point, the fact that they're at the border having these peace talks tells you they're looking for an out at this point. And so again, I really just can't stress enough. I'm not going to sit here and piddle about whose coverage is more accurate than who else's when all of these people are propagandists and have an agenda. I just want it to be over as quickly as possible with the minimum loss of life. That's it. That's the best position to have. Gear Up says there's video. She hooks it up to a farm tractor and drags it away. I don't care if there's video. That's staged, my man. All of it can be. It's all fake. Everything's fucking fake. Dozens and dozens and dozens of picture, of audio, of video has all been proven to be fake over the last 72 hours. So it's best to just not believe anything. You actually have different streams from Kiev that are live feeds where you simply don't see at all what the corporate press is. Got somebody answering. You just don't see what the corporate press is reporting. Oh man, we've got somebody here. Let me add you to the scene here really quick so everybody can hear you. You know what? I'm going to try to do something a little bit different. I'm going to see. I've got a new monitor set up here, and I'm going to see if I can get this to work. All right. Say something, Aaron.
Something.
Hey, can you guys hear Aaron?
I can unmute my TV and I can tell you.
Well, hopefully of one of the other 20. Yeah, they hear you. Okay, they hear you. That's the important thing. And I've even got a little button here where they can. There you go. How about that? I'm going to resize this a little bit. Because you know me, I got to get all the stupid Skype crap out of the window. I'm not going to have Bill Gates's advertisement. There we go. All right. Aaron, what's going on, man?
I put on a hoodie for you since I didn't have a shirt.
Hey, I speak for everyone when I say we appreciate it. Thank you for your service.
I mean, Dave never harasses me because I don't have a shirt on.
Yeah, well, that's because Dave is enthralled. Tim Wysong wants to know, Aaron, who do you like for March Madness?
Is that basketball?
Yeah, I think it's college basketball. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't do basketball.
All right.
I like real sports.
Oh shit. Okay,
Yeah.
what's a real sport?
I just say that every time somebody brings up basketball to me.
Oh, okay.
I
All right.
I was never. I'll tell you a story, wonderful story on why I'm not a basketball fan. All right, so there I was in like fourth grade, went to the high school basketball camp, you know, that every high school does. So there I am, and we get split up on teams, and I'm on the team that goes undefeated, wins the championship, first place. Yeah, baby. You know how many minutes of play I got in the like 8 games we had in that tournament?
Not that many. There we go. Yeah. Hey, that counts. You still get a ring. That counts.
I never even got to dribble the ball in a game, and so I was like, you know what? I don't think basketball is going to be my sport.
That
And
it does.
then I went to college and played rugby, so I'll take it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you still get to that counts though. You still get to count that as I was on a championship winning basketball team.
Yeah, I threw away the trophy. I was so pissed. I was like, I didn't do anything to deserve this. I'm not going to keep it.
Well,
And
that
that's
might be
how I knew I wasn't going to be a commie.
that might be true, but I will say this: even the fact that you were on the winning team, albeit didn't play, that you still are more entitled to a trophy than the everyone gets a trophy. Like, the people who did play but were on the losing team are less worthy of a trophy than the people who didn't play but were on the winning team.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, but still, I didn't do anything but sit there and yell,
Mm-hmm.
"Go team! Woo!" I was a cheerleader. Do cheerleaders get championship rings at the end of the season? No.
No, I think they just get spied on in the bathroom if you're like the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. So,
Well,
yeah.
I mean, if you're in Pittsburgh, you might get raped in the bathroom or something.
Well, I'm thinking those days are behind them now. As
Oh,
of this coming season, I think that they've moved on from this. Draxtillion says, "Who is this? This is the official Twitch mod of It's Too Late." That's who this is. Um, Aaron, I was actually telling, I was on with my friend Justin earlier today on his show, Fact Check This, and the topic of basketball came up, and I told him the story about how my uncle Mike was the one who taught me how to play basketball. because he was a basketball player, and in his advice to me and his great claim to fame from his time as a player was when he was in school, and this is a gift that I learned from him. When he was in school, he went to a really small school, and they played in an invitational, and they played against a guy who went on to be like a major D1 player, and then they had like a mediocre career in the NBA and stuff. I forget the guy's name. But I mean, it doesn't matter how mediocre his career was. If he made it to the NBA, he's a million times better basketball player than any of us. And he played against this guy. And in his team, his little middle of nowhere small time Southern high school beat that team with that player on it. And the way they beat him is my uncle Mike was the guy guarding him in the post. And every single time that guy posted up on him with his back turned, he would always reach down and start yanking out the hairs on the back of his leg, just below his knee joint. And he did that and did that and did that until the back of his leg was literally bleeding. And he finally turned around and took a couple of swings at my uncle and got ejected. And then his team won. Which the moral of the story is first of all, that's how you play basketball. And second of all, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. See, Aaron, they could have put you in for that.
I was real short back then too, so I would have been like not even having to bend over to pull the leg hair. Then again, I don't think many fourth graders have a lot of leg hair to pull.
And Arco Zero asks, what's your cigarette brand, Aaron?
Pall Mall Blues.
There you go. Swole Keesley is happy that you're on because that means you're not paying attention to his comments. Ryan thinks he's going to get away with violations of our code because you're not going to be there to ban him.
Yeah, he doesn't realize that all I got to do is this, and let's see, push this button here, and find Swole. There we go. And time out the user. Duration, let's go with 10 seconds because I'm just proving a point. And timed him out. All right.
So, there you go.
So what was that about? Glad I was on saying what?
Who was that? Somebody said that Alan needs to have a monitor behind him for guests. So first of all, I don't have a literal monitor back here with the guest on it because I can produce the show with OBS. I can actually put the guest on the screen right here. If you would prefer it be like evening news where I'm sitting here with a stack of papers and there's a box next to my head, I could do it that way. If you would prefer Aaron be a little box next to my face. Or you know what? You know, I'll call your bluff. What we'll do is we'll just do this. We'll move this down right there, and I'll take my literal monitor. Here you go. There's Aaron. there you go. Aaron's on the screen now. That counts. That counts as Aaron being on a monitor on the screen. So now you guys are getting to see behind the curtain. This is what it looks like on my desk. There's a giant Aaron head right there.
Can we edit out and post my full name being there? Because I don't go by that on the internet anymore.
I don't think you go by anything in English anymore.
I don't. It's Araon.
You know what's the thing is, I was worried that I wasn't going to be able to tag you on Facebook, like in the community group, because I was like, I don't have those characters. But if I type @ in the letter A, yours is the first one that comes up.
Yeah.
So
yeah. My mom is actually the person who taught me how I can be tagged, because she just started typing in my name, and it popped up in Japanese, and she's like, ha, ha, ha. Now people who didn't know that I got kicked off of Facebook now know that I'm kind of back on Facebook.
Yeah. Well, I remember you saying you were talking in chat the other night, but now you're on the show, so you can say to people is that so the the upside to getting kicked off of Facebook is that you're not on Facebook anymore. The downside to being kicked off of Facebook is that you have an account with, connections and pictures and videos and all that stuff. And it's not like they give you a button to just download everything. When they've decided you're down the memory hole, that's the end of it.
Yeah, 13 years of memories of like my kids growing up, family trips, you know,
Hmm.
fun times. A really awesome video of me skateboarding back in the day,
Hmm.
but not like when I was good skateboarding back in the day, like a few years later when the kids were getting into skateboarding. And so I was skateboarding them, went down the vert ramp, and then all of a sudden you see the board come flying up the next ramp and I'm not on it anymore. It was a it was a great video. I laughed every time I watched that thing. Yeah, that thing's gone. I
Yeah.
might have it. I might have it on a external hard drive that I have a bunch of pictures and stuff on. But there's a lot of stuff that was on there that just doesn't exist anywhere else. And fuck you, Mark Zuckerberg, for you know
Hmm.
just trashing my whole life. And so I trashed his app, and I only get on the mobile website that you can't do, but at like a tenth of the shit that you could do on the app.
I haven't had an experience quite like that. My personal profile has never been zucked like that. Um, our all of our content, all of our show pages and stuff have all either been banned outright or shadow banned. The one thing that I don't have anymore that I used to have was our original show page that we made back in 2017 for the gold standard. It so it was the page that had obviously all of our content on it all the way through like the first couple of years of the show or whatever. And that was in the period of time where we had like Lou Rockwell and Ron Paul and Jeff Deist and a bunch of different people. And we've always put the video, like the videos still exist. I have the videos and I've always had them on like YouTube or whatever. Not that they're any better. But on Facebook, like our Ron Paul episode on Facebook had something like 55, 60, 65,000 views, something like that. Um, and just thousands and thousands and thousands of reactions and shares and likes. And that page at one point in time had ballooned up to like tens of thousands of followers and stuff. That page is gone. So that page has been gone for a long time. We made a new page after episode 95, which was It's Too Late. But we've been throttled ever since. Um, I think the most viewed episodes we've ever had since making the new page got maybe 3-4 thousand views, which is not terrible, but it ain't no 50-60 thousand. Um, and now we don't even get that. So I get these little memory notifications on Facebook of here was an episode that came out this time, last year. Here's an episode that came out this time 2 years ago. And though even some of those episodes had 3-4 thousand views, and now the exact same page of the exact same show, 1 or 2 years to the day later, are only getting like 100 views. And so, is my show 98% worse, or is there shit going on that's outside of our control?
Well,
Yeah, be honest. Yeah, come on, hit me.
I mean, I saw the Ron Paul show. That was actually the first time I uh I was aware of your presence on the internet, was because, well, see, did you go on Liberty late night before the Ron Paul show, or was that
I think
Was
I
that after?
think yeah, I think that it was after.
Yeah, I
Um
think so.
yeah.
I I just know somebody started like Ron Paul's going to be on this show. Ron Paul's going to be on the show.
Mhm.
So a bunch of us hopped over there and
Yeah. That was kind of like that was the point in time where because Blake was hanging out with us back then and doing like producer stuff, and we were doing the show back in the old studio stage and everything. And it was around that time that it was like, on the one hand, well, obviously we can't have people like Ron Paul on every single week, that's a special occasion. But on the other hand, we're getting 5-digit, views and downloads and stuff. It's like, hell yeah, we're going somewhere. Um, and it was not long after that. It was not long after that the show page got nuked. Um, and our episode 100 had close to as many views, and then after episode 100, we're dead on Facebook after that.
yeah, fuck Facebook.
Yeah, Ryan says the show really bounced back with the tier lists. I'm glad you think so, Ryan. We're always looking for new ideas.
I
Uh,
I so Dave, if you'll tell Mary my truck is running now.
mm-hmm.
I haven't seen her in chat yet, but
Yeah, I think they're having some kind of civil war in their household between them and the Goof Troop. So that's why Mary's not with us right now.
mm,
Um, Liberty Late Night says, "Why aren't we doing a 50-50 split screen?" Now, imagine that the number one producer in Late Night is not even here, but he's in chat questioning why isn't the show being run differently.
mm. Maybe if he was here producing the show, he could
Mm-hmm.
run it however the hell he wanted to.
Yeah, I agree completely. I'm actually like I had told Dave that I was going to try some things out to like change my setup a little bit. Like normally I do a little NDI source in OBS, which gives me like the Skype feed and gives me a little controllable audio. I'm not you're the first person I've ever had on the show that I'm not doing that with. I actually have you on a different monitor now, and I'm capturing that second desktop, and it seems to be working really good. The audio video quality seems to be really good, and all that. So I might I might be doing it this way going forward. The only downside is that I didn't quite have everything set up, so now I'm sort of stuck. I'm sort of stuck on Aaron Cam now, and I can't check my notifications and stuff because they're behind you, and if I go to check them, then you go away. So that's a whole other thing that we can blame on Dave.
But by the way, I keep looking up because the show's on the TV, so the
Mm-hmm.
comments are on my TV, which is up here,
That's
and so
awesome.
I. Not like I'm watching a sports ball game or anything, and
Yeah,
yeah, I'm just trying to read chat.
yeah. Police comment says, "Alan, you're on TV." I've actually been on TV
I can do
before.
that, but then you see everything behind me, which
Yeah. Um,
it's mostly just bills.
Draxtillion says, "Dave, you have permission to run it how you want, bro." Well, no, that's not exactly what we said. All right. Um, Definitely not a Fed boy says he should be here on camera. Dave should always be on camera. Dave's a handsome man. He should be on camera. He's also the number one dad in the Willimowski household, says Lyle. That is technically correct. Based
I,
based Plowman says, Alan, what's your day job? My day job is I am a policy researcher and database admin for the 10th Amendment Center. But actually, that's my side hustle. This is my day job. My day job is I'm a late night host, but I'm also a database person for the Tinto Center.
I'm a Fed.
Yeah, Aaron's a Fed,
I
so
mean,
yeah.
I'm not a kick your door down and shoot your dog Fed, but by all technical
Hmm.
analysis, I am a Fed.
Yeah. Yeah, Aaron is actually my handler, so I pay my bills while being able to do a libertarian podcast because Aaron feeds me money in exchange for me disseminating state propaganda. So it's pretty good work if you can get it.
Yeah. Being the analytical guy is always better than being the shoot brown people guy.
Hmm. Uh, oh wow, I love the 10th Amendment Center. Yeah, the 10th Amendment Center is the absolute best. I've gone on record many times as saying that it is criminal that organizations like Cato and Reason have multi-million dollar budgets while the 10th Amendment Center is being run on absolute shoestrings. Those should be totally reversed. Cato and Reason that love to hang out in the Beltway and rub elbows with DC types and in exchange get millions of dollars to make all this milk toast content about how vaccine mandates can totally be libertarian. They should lose a few $1 million of their funding, and that should go to the 10th Amendment Center. I say that both because I love the 10th Amendment Center and because that would probably benefit me. but not just because it would benefit me, because they deserve it.
I like how definitely not a Fed boy is saying that I am not a Fed.
Well, you know those memes of like the undercover cop drug dealers get arrested by the undercover cop drug buyers or whatever. So that's kind of what it is. So he's a Fed and you're a Fed, but he actually doesn't know that you're a Fed and you actually don't know that he's a Fed, and y'all are gonna arrest each other.
Yeah, he needs to tell Agent Bob to stop tapping my fucking phone calls.
Yeah. Well, I think we've talked about this before. So if anyone just asks him if he's a Fed and for his badge number, he has to tell you that that is the law. That is what it says. So if
Yeah,
you're ever worried about that, just ask.
yeah. Oh, hold on. I'll get you my number.
Okay.
It is oh good God. All right, here it is. My number is 042-96283.
Well, there you go. I'm disappointed that it was 042 as opposed to 42069. You know.
You know what? I have constantly asked if I could personalize my number because
Yeah.
all the numbers are there. Because 04296, it should be 42069. And then
Yeah.
the other numbers don't matter after that.
Yeah.
Because
Um.
it would only be right for an anarchist working in the government to you know, have
Mhm.
42069 as part of his number.
Lyle says the first 9 amendment centers were all terrible, though. It's funny that you would say that. Believe it or not, I know this from having talked to Bolden. So the before he started the 10th Amendment Center, when he was like reserving some domains, I think he had reserved two or three different ones, and the 10th Amendment Center was just one of them. I think he had reserved I want to say he had reserved like Fourth Amendment Center, um, Ninth Amendment Center, and 10th Amendment Center, or something like that. And it was just a personal decision that they decided to go with 10th Amendment Center, and the rest is history. So imagine that.
Now I wear my Russian hat.
Yeah, that is a Russian hat.
With government propaganda.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I see that. I actually
Too hot in
the
here for that.
the last package that I got, which was actually that monitor and a couple of other things, came U.S. Postal Service on Sunday. I'm really glad that you guys are delivering Amazon shit on Sundays.
I don't. I'm off on Sundays.
Oh well, the poor lady that delivered it, she wasn't. Um,
No, I was gonna say the last thing I got in the mail was my my order from Packcrest Botanicals.
oh yeah.
Which, if you use the promo code "It's Too Late," all one word,
Mm-hmm.
you get 30% off.
Yeah, 30%.
30%.
Mm-hmm.
That like wiped out all the tax and all the
Mm-hmm.
shipping,
Mm-hmm.
and it was under the list price at 30% off.
Yep.
It was a great deal. And
Yeah.
I can't tell you that it's helped my sleeping, but it it hasn't made it worse.
It hasn't made it worse. Ryan says, "Ask Aaron where my Mexican Viagra is. It's been weeks now." Ryan, we got a beat on that.
Um yeah, first of all, I have no idea anything about what's going on in Wisconsin other than cheese. I mean, I
Uh,
spent some time in Whitewater
mm-hmm.
several years ago, but yeah, I don't know. Just because I'm between Mexico and Wisconsin doesn't mean I ever touch any packages.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know. I've never been up that way. I don't know anything about Wisconsin other than the fact that they have a football team that's very Cowboys-esque in their ability to be one and done in the playoffs. Um, that's about all I know about them. Please comment says legit question. What product did Aaron purchase? What did you get from Pack Crest Botanicals?
Um, I ordered the sleep gummies,
Okay, yeah.
and they sent me the sleep drops as a sample.
Oh, okay. So you
And
got 30% off and you got some bonus materials.
yeah, well, and he said while he was on the show that he would toss in some extra sleep stuff. I was just
Okay.
afraid he was going to send me some of the mushroom stuff, and I have a mushroom allergy, so I'm glad he didn't, because I don't know what I'd do with it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm in a better frame of mind than I was, 7 years ago. So
Hmm.
drinking is probably out of the question.
Yeah. Um, definitely not a Fed boy says I could show you some shit about Wisconsin. I mean, I'm gotta be honest with you. I'm just not that interested in Wisconsin. Basically anything north of Tennessee. I don't even care about Kentucky, and that's still sort of kind of the South. Oh, you're drinking Mountain Dew, eh?
Yeah,
I showed Dave, our resident functioning alcoholic. They're getting ready to sell hard Mountain Dew.
I mean, Mountain Dew is created as a mixer for whiskey anyway.
Yeah, they're getting ready to sell the hard version of Mountain Dew. I actually think that the three states that currently have it in stock are Iowa, Tennessee, and Florida. So I should be able to get some somewhere. I haven't gone to look yet, but I should be able to get some. I'm going to send some to Dave. Nobody in Tennessee cares about Kentucky. Nobody anywhere cares about Kentucky, dude. that's the reason why.
Fun story about Kentucky. When we were heading back from our visit to Dave and Mary's, uh, we decided, instead of just heading straight back west through Ohio, Indiana,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
we decided we'd go down and went through West Virginia and Kentucky. And Laura said never in her life does she ever want to go back to Kentucky. And I believe the way I described it at the time was it is literally the trailer park of fucking America.
Yep. I'm
Every
yeah.
place, every place we stopped, there was kids running around, no shoes on. Bib overalls seemed to be the fashionable trend. And I was just like, man, this is worse than the trailer parks I deliver to.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, that's the interesting thing about Tennessee is that so Tennessee, because of the shape of the state, it borders a ton of states. It borders Kentucky, the Carolinas, Georgia, Alabama, uh, Arkansas, and so Kentucky in it because it's not necessarily just a latitude longitude thing because Kentucky is to the north of Tennessee, but it is way trashier. And of course, obviously, Alabama's to the south of Tennessee, and it's also way trashier. So, in comparison to its neighbors, Tennessee's classy. Now, Tennessee may not be considered classy if it were in another part of the country, but when you consider that its neighbors are like Kentucky and Alabama, Tennessee's classy as shit. Liberty Late Night says it's ad time. Liberty Late Night, you're watching that ad is contributing 2 more cents to the show budget.
I like trailer parks though. They're safer than the cities. Well, not our trailer parks. Our trailer
Hmm.
parks are the home of the Serranos.
Uh oh.
So I gotta usually go with the can of gray spray paint and untag my boxes like once a month.
Oh wow. Um. Well, that's fantastic news.
Well, see, I deliver in the barrio, right? So
Hmm.
I used to call it the ghetto, and then I was informed that that's not the ghetto because there is a more ghetto neighborhood than the neighborhood I deliver to.
Hmm.
So I was just like, well, 80% of the people who live in my area are Hispanic, so I'll just call it the barrio. That'll work, right?
Hmm.
But
Uh,
a lot of gang members, a lot of gang members.
Swole Keesley says silver and gold spray paint is the best for huffing. Um. Well, we'll definitely take your word for it.
Oh, I got a story about silver and gold spray paint too.
Go on.
All right. So I used to work at Walmart
Hmm.
for like 13 years. And
Hmm.
one of the jobs I did was I went around the country doing remodels of stores.
Sure.
All right, which is why I was up in Wisconsin when I was up there. So we were in Mesa, or no, we were in Globe in Claypool, Arizona. Which, if you know who Sonny, I always jack up his last name, Minefre, I think.
Menifee. Yeah.
Menifee, yeah. If you know Sonny, he's actually from that. There's three little towns up in the mountains in Arizona, and he's from there originally. so, so we're there, and one of the managers at the store decides because they sell so much spray paint and it's more of the metallic spray paints like gold and silver. He
Hmm.
thought, well, I'll just order a bunch of them and put them on display.
Hmm.
There's a reservation about 5 miles outside of those towns, and the spray paint was going to all the kids that lived on the reservation. They'd take it and go off.
Oh my god. Um,
And that was we saw it there, and I'm like, why would you buy that much gold and silver spray paint? And they're like, well, it just flies off the shelves. I'm like, yeah, into the lungs of these kids. Stupid ass.
that's terrible. Um,
There was a lot of meth up there too.
yeah. Um, yeah, well, we definitely have that issue in this part of the country as well. Pure capitalism, according to Ryan. Base Plowman says working with just a few data points, so high variance, but there is a linear correlation between wardrobe and show caliber. Well, that's because this isn't an episode of It's Too Late. Those are Wednesday nights at 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central. The Monday night It's Too Late community live stream is dedicated specifically to the audience here, our wonderful community, so that they can chit chat about whatever's going on in their lives or hop on the stream like Aaron has to shoot the shit with me. Ironically enough, it's funny that you say that, Based, because we had somebody on Odyssey who was leaving a bunch of hate comments and trying to give me advice on how to produce a show, because he was saying that, well, it seems like the production value is pretty high, but it seems like there's no point to the show. This guy obviously had never seen a single episode of It's Too Late in his life. He had only ever seen the Monday night live stream. And that particular night was a night that we had like, uh, Lyle and Celeste and Ryan and whoever. And this guy thought that was It's Too Late. This guy was like, "Oh, that's what this show is." Um, and I was like, have you never ever like you're on my channel? So if you're on my channel watching, you see this huge library of videos. Have you never seen a single one of these episodes, like or with all of these other guests that we've had? Um, so anyway, I don't know. Like it honest to God drives me to want to make the Monday night stream like private, like only streamed in a private chat somewhere, as opposed to online everywhere. Because I have people who have never seen the show before coming to the Monday night stream and being like, I don't get the show.
Man, just imagine if he stumbled across the freaking Liberty Late Night Tuesday show. Woo,
Yeah,
boy.
yeah, well, you look at like so Liberty Late Night the last couple of weeks. So like last week they had that Martha lady on there, and then like before that they had Scott Horton. And so if you were to compare like Liberty Late Night when they had Scott Horton versus yeah, like a Tuesday night show where they're drinking and watching videos and Dave is commenting on how much he enjoys thick chicks. If that was the first episode they saw, or if someone said, hey, they had on Scott Horton and then they go to the channel and that's the episode they saw, they'd be like, it's amazing how many people out there will come back with these comments like, what does this have to do with Liberty? And I'm like, first of all, I don't give a fuck if my show has anything to do with Liberty, because it's not about being about Liberty. It's about doing a fun show. And sometimes we talk about things that maybe I'm passionate about. Sometimes we just have a good time. Sometimes we have guests. Sometimes we don't. Uh, Honest to God, what the thing is for me is that after like um, almost 100 episodes of the gold standard, and then now we've actually done more episodes of It's Too Late now than we did of the gold standard at this point. And we've had so many guests, and we've had so many guests, and a lot of those people have been on twice or more. It's like I can only talk about some of these really serious issues so many times, and I can only have people like Scott Horton or Tom Woods or whatever. I can only have them on the show so many times before it's like we've done that, like we did it. It's done now. So now we need to find something new to do. Like, is that just me, or are there people in the audience that feel that way too? That it's like, well, you should do something different.
I I like the Liberty podcasts and everything, but I get down in the weeds so much that I'd rather have more fun loving
Mm-hmm.
stuff with my friends. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I'll listen to Tom Woods every day. I'll listen to
Mm-hmm.
Michael Malice once a week.
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm hanging out in the Twitch chat moderating and banning Adam for using the fucking raid emote
Yeah.
every goddamn show, I, you know, it's I rather have fun time than dwelling more on the issues because honestly, I used to watch news all the time
Mm-hmm.
and I found out that I get more miserable the more attention I pay to the talking heads that, you know,
Mm-hmm.
I
So,
mean,
speaking of that, ban that R word right there. There's a bot in chat who's trying to get us to buy followers and viewers.
is
Ban
that
that
on
R
Twitch?
word. Yeah, man. There's bots on every single freaking platform.
Uh,
Um,
I'm disconnected from chat. Hold on. I gotta flip this bad boy over.
there you go. Got the poblano jalapeno and honey habanero tasty. They threw in a bottle of ghost berry rhubarb. I'm scared to try it. Yeah, so Glenn ordered some hot sauce from one of our official sponsors, the Tennessee Hot Sauce Company, which you can get at tnhotsauceco.com. So Glenn got some. There's your review right there. He got the poblano jalapeno, honey habanero, and they are tasty. So there you
Uh,
go.
you're gonna have to ban them because when I reconnected, it was gone.
All right, this is here we go. Now everyone's gonna get to see behind the curtain. Oh shit, we got new subs and everything. I'm such a terrible host. I've been missing everything. Uh, ban. Okay, that guy's banned. Cool.
Well,
Uh,
I did see a bunch of a bunch of people who resubscribed today.
yeah. Anarcho and please comma. I already got Lyle, so that's two more right there. So I'm gonna have to.
Well, are the no, they're those are resubs though.
Yeah, they're resubs. I had lowered the count. We were at 16, and I lowered it all the way down to 11.
Oh, okay.
So now we're back up to 14. We need to. I got to get on these people, man. I don't know if it's because so many people in our audience are all boomers and they don't know how to use the internet or what it is. But I know for a fact that we've got like hundreds of people in the community who I'm sure are Amazon customers, and I can't get these SOBs to just make a Twitch account and subscribe to the show for free. I can't get people to do it. We
You
literally
know
got
what?
16.
I couldn't figure out Twitch till my 15-year-old daughter got me stuck watching certain people. And I found out
Mm-hmm.
it was because my old device was out of memory. And so I couldn't download the app. And so I was trying to go off of like twitch.tv and find things that way. And it just wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
So download the app. That's the secret.
Lyle says, I got to get caught up here. Lyle says, I like having both some community fun and some news points. Well, okay, so the Monday nights is strictly for the community. Um, Wednesday is the flagship show that we've been doing for like over 4 years now, going on 4.5 years. Um, and I try to make it light, but then talk about something serious. And then the Thursday night show is sort of like a more long form conversation about things we didn't we might have missed on the Wednesday show. So I try to cover all the bases. But the thing is I got to figure out a way to brand it better, because people who have never seen the show before, never been in the private group before, don't know anything about me. Maybe they saw me, maybe I was a guest on someone else's show and they saw me, or they saw a link and they're like, okay, sure, I'll click on that link. And the first thing they see could randomly be one of those things. So I got to figure out a better way to brand so that people understand that the main show, the show with all the bells and whistles and all the fancy production, is It's Too Late, and that's Wednesday nights. If someone was only going to watch one thing and then make a value judgment, I want them to watch that. But then also to know that that Monday nights is just for us to hang out. Sometimes it's serious. Most of the time we just shoot the shit. But I'm not spending hours and hours and hours putting together the It's Too Late community live stream. If I was, I wouldn't be doing it. I put all my effort into doing the Wednesday night show, and that's it. So I don't know. I'm all ears on that. If there's a better way that I could brand or advertise that, I would.
You know something I noticed?
What?
There's been no donations tonight.
Yeah, we haven't gotten. We didn't get anything at the end of last week either, so I just cut the stream and took off.
And it might be because the guy who's constantly posting links is not tonight.
Well, I mean,
not earning his pay.
I mean, I can sit here and use Restream chat to post the links, but the last couple of live streams we did, we got next to nothing. The one before that we did pretty well, and then the one before that we got next to nothing. But the biggest thing is that I try to tell people is, if you're somebody who's a big fan and supporter of the show, this comment is not directed at you. I'm incredibly appreciative of you if you're someone who helps out the show. Who I'm talking about is everyone else. We can't keep doing these random live streams for 20, 30, 40, 50 people. If we're not getting several hundred or 1,000 plus people, I don't need to be doing the stream. I need to be doing something else. Especially when, we used to do shows. Now, granted, I know that not everybody tunes in live. Lots of people just put stuff in their catcher and then they just, they watch it on their, or listen to stuff at work or while they're on their commute or whatever. I get that, that's fine. But in the past, we had way bigger audience numbers, even just live. And so I'm not trying to badger the same 20 people to donate more money. I want to get 2,000 different people to be donating $1. I don't want the same people to be donating more dollars. So that's the real trick to everything is, I'm super, super appreciative of all of our Patreon subscribers and everything else. I hope that I can continue to bring some value to them that they feel it's justified to support the show. But I would rather have another couple of thousand viewers be donating $1 than to ask for any more from those people.
So you're appreciative of the guy who took the $1 bait?
Yeah. Well, I mean, this going back to when Dave was having his banana and mayonnaise sandwich, I had said that night that if we reached a certain goal, then Dave would eat a banana and mayonnaise sandwich, and I let Dave decide how much money it would be. And that particular night, we were at $18.50, and I said, Dave, how much money does it have to be? And Dave said, 20's fine. So what do you think happened? Somebody donated $1.50 and said, all right, eat the sandwich. So, but you know what? That's on Dave. Dave sold himself for too little.
Yeah, he wouldn't be a very good whore.
Yeah. He liked it too much.
You give it up for free, then, that's the difference between a slut and a whore, right?
So Please Comma says,
markets themselves.
Please Comma says, I'm confused whether Twitch subscribers are contributing to helping the community stream continue. Yes, they are. So the beautiful thing about the Twitch subscribers is so basically we get half. A normal subscription, like the tier 1 subscription, is $5. If you do Amazon Prime, it's free. But we still get 50% of the 5 even if you pay nothing. So basically we're getting $2.50, actually a little bit less, but we're basically getting $2.50 per subscriber no matter what method they use. Um, so yeah. So, I would love the way I look at it is just for the sake of math is I wish I had like 200 subscribers on my Patreon at $10, because that's $10 is not a ton of money. 200 is not that many people, but that's $2,000. Would I turn it down if some random, rich Russian came along and said, "Here, we need you to do some propaganda for RT. We'll give you $2,000 a month." I would totally take that and say, "Now I'm making $2,000 a month." But another way of doing that is 200 people donating $10 or 2,000 people donating $1. So I consider it all together. If we had half of that in Patreon and another half of that in Twitch, if we were making all of that from people with Twitch Prime just giving us free subs, dude, I don't give a shit. It's all gravy to me. So everything counts.
Oh, hey, speaking of that, both the LPR and the DPR
Mm-hmm.
are loyal to Russia, and so it should be their self-determination whether or not they are part of Russia.
Correct.
Hold on, my my cash just got here for saying that.
Well, the thing is that um, it's totally their self determination to not be a part of Ukraine that's run by neo Nazis. Um, but they can only be a part of Russia if Russia wants to annex them, wants to make them a part of Russia. Um, the thing about Putin is that he had the opportunity to take the Donbas region into Russia before, several years ago, and he elected not to do so. And the strategic reason why he did that is he liked the idea of having a bunch of effectively Russians being considered Ukrainian citizens, because that meant basically he had a big voting bloc in Ukraine that was loyal to Russia. Of course, that sort of blew up in his face when Obama installed the coup and got rid of the elected representatives of Ukraine and installed the neo-Nazis, because then now those people are now the minority that no longer have a voice in the government. So the American empire is to blame, but unfortunately for the poor people of the Donbas region, they would have never had to have been caught in the middle in the first place. It's a lot of bad decisions on both sides that led to, of course, regular people having to bear the cost.
Well, while the U.S. was tied up in Afghanistan and Iraq, Putin did the same thing in Georgia. There were two provinces of Georgia who declared themselves separate from Georgia,
Mm-hmm.
and Putin rolled down there and sucked those two up real quick.
Swole Keesley says, "Wait, you get paid to make propaganda for RT?" No, I don't. But I'm saying I totally would. That's the difference. But I don't currently. Our friend Will Porter. It's not propaganda, but our friend Will Porter, who's been on the show before, works for the Libertarian Institute. He writes for RT. So, and he also says we should make Ukraine one big Walmart. I don't. I don't know where you're going with that. Poutine is very tasty. Yes, poutine. Poutine is very tasty.
I think, I mean, the Biden family's deal with Ukraine, which basically would create a second petroleum state in Europe after Russia. That hurts the economic output of Russia, and that
Mm.
also gives Putin a reason to, you know, want Ukraine to stay as far away from NATO as possible.
Yeah. Well, that was the thing is that when the Obama administration orchestrated the coup in 2014, uh, because obviously the puppets that they then installed were terrible, were monsters, were neo Nazis. But the reason why they went through it in the first place was because after the most recent elections, the government that ultimately formed was not sufficiently pro NATO enough to their liking. And so I know a lot of people have made the analogies of, NATO pushing Ukraine further to the west um, is the equivalence to the Cuban Missile Crisis. And yeah, there's definitely some parallels there. Um, Again, one thing that Putin absolutely has to kind of suffer the blame for is it's not like America was going to annex Cuba and then chose not to, and then Cuba, became a communist dictatorship that was going to work with the Soviets. Whereas in Ukraine's situation, Putin did not uh, make any moves originally to try to absorb Ukraine. I mean, technically, he still hasn't, even though this terrible event is going on. Putin never came out and said, "Oh yeah, we're going to conquer Ukraine, and it's just going to be a Russian, annexation, and we're just going to add it to our geography." He didn't do that, but he did have the opportunity with the Donbas region, and he turned them down. So they wanted to join Russia, and he said no. My prediction for what's going to happen now is that the Donbas region will be absorbed into Russia this go round, um, and that hopefully the violence is not going to continue for particularly longer. Um, the fact that they're already having peace talks and they're going to be returning for more peace talk, like they just concluded the first round of peace talks today, and they have agreed to continue the peace talks, would seem to suggest that it's not going to be going on much longer. Which again, as I said at the start of the show, at this point, I don't even give a shit about the rest. Whatever result means it ends the quickest with the lowest loss of life. There you go. That's the result I'm for.
What if Putin is 6D chessing it and he sent his military into Ukraine, but badly stocked and, poorly trained, so that way Ukrainian army would beat them back over the border and realize, oh, we don't need NATO to protect us from Russia. We can take on Russia ourselves. And he's manipulated Ukraine into not joining NATO because they don't need them.
I think that the chances of that are pretty low. I will say this: if this is just my prognostication. If we wake up tomorrow and in the news everyone's reporting that the peace talks have concluded and the war is over, and here are the terms. If that happens, I'm willing to bet that the terms will be that the independently declared republics will remain independent, or in other words, will wind up being a part of Russia. They won't fold back into Ukraine. Ukraine is probably going to demilitarize to a certain extent. Putin himself specifically said that obviously NATO expansion was a major catalyst to all this, and he's going to want assurances that Ukraine is demilitarized and is not going to join NATO. That's an afterthought at this point. But he's also made comments that he wants to, quote, denazify Ukraine. I had actually read where he had made public statements where he had actually said that he was okay with President Zelensky staying president of Ukraine. Like he wasn't necessarily trying to force a complete regime change in the Ukraine, but he did want the neo-Nazi elements of the regime, like the Azov battalion. He did want them out. He wants them gone. He wants them disarmed and out of the state apparatus. If there is a means by which a President Zelensky can remain in power and Ukraine can be reformed, basically with the Western puppets being removed from their state, I think Putin would actually go for that. I genuinely do. I know that there's people that would say, "Oh, that's Russia apologism, and Putin's just a crazy man." But he's not. He's really not. Like, he's not a crazy person. I'm not saying he's a nice person. I think he's an evil person, but he's not crazy. I think if he were offered that on the table today, he'd take it. Nope, no, Alan, Putin is crazy. That's why he invaded. Yes, that's correct, 100%. But I mean, I know plenty of people have made the analogy of, I mean, if Mexico had elections and the regime of Mexico were basically toppled in the course of an election cycle, and pro-Chinese separatists became the ruling regime of Mexico City, and then they orchestrated some arms deals to start putting missile launchers on the border, the United States would turn them into fucking glass. Like, there's no doubt in my mind they would be wiped off the face of the earth. So I think it is incredibly naive for people to just be calling Putin crazy and not looking at the geopolitical reality of the situation and knowing full goddamn well how the Americans would react if the situation were reversed.
Have you ever seen the show Jericho?
I've seen it a little bit, like when it first came on, and then that was it.
The fictitious city of Jericho is basically where I live.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so bring on the nuclear war, because we survived in Jericho. We'll survive in real life, right?
Yeah. There you go.
I got the Rockies to the west that'll shield us from the radiation. There's nothing worth hitting on this side of the Mississippi. So Dallas and Austin are too far south, and there's nothing north of us at all. I mean, there's 4 presidential heads up there or something. But Go ahead, I'm safe.
Yeah, well, there you go. Aaron, did you know that we've already been on for an hour and a half?
Yeah, I checked the time a minute ago.
I'm about to, because we've gotten I've gotten no notifications other than a few. I'm screwing up everything here.
I've been on for 1 hour, 3 minutes, and 35 seconds.
Yeah, and the stream's been on for an hour and 32. So since we've been on that long and I haven't gotten anything other than a few Twitch donations, that means it's time for this. So Aaron, do you have a final thought?
So my truck stopped working on Thursday.
Yeah.
Supposed to leave town. Got a hold of my friend who was the bassist of my band, the one that punched me in the video and I hit him with a bottle.
Mm-hmm.
He came and looked at it, shot a little starter fluid in the air intake, started right up, run fine ever since. Took it, checked all the spark plugs, hooked up the computer to see what was wrong. Absolutely fucking nothing. So, my final thought is, sometimes your bad luck might be saving you from worse luck.
Yeah.
I had a dream Wednesday night that I got in a real bad car wreck.
Mm-hmm.
But the highlight of the dream was the settlement I got from the trucking company bought my land so I could finally disappear from society. Downside was I lost a leg.
Wow.
I don't
I told
remember my dreams very often, but that one stuck with me.
it's funny you mentioned that. I had a dream the other night. I told Anna Kay about it. I had a dream the other night that me and Anna Kay were at Disney World, which, if you know Anna Kay and realize how much she loves Disney World, you realize that's not really a big shocker. And
I saw both episodes she was on.
yeah, and I lost track of her. I couldn't find her. And of course, again, if you realize that Anna Kay's like 4'10", then it's not like it's a huge surprise that you lose track of her. But I couldn't. I was there with Anna Kay. She goes off somewhere. I don't know, the restroom or something. She never comes back. I don't know where she is. I go looking for her. I can't find her. And I'm, and I start to panic. And like I get in touch with like security and stuff. And I'm like, I was here with someone, and this person's, disappeared. And I had that awakening moment. This happens to me all the time in dreams, particularly in dreams where I'm not happy with what's going on in the dream. It's that I can sense immediately that it's a dream, and then I start like rocking my head forward like this, trying to make myself snap out of the dream. And I've gotten really good at waking myself up from the dreaming world. Where if I'm in a dream and shit's going down and I'm like, this is fucked, I gotta get out of here, I'll start banging my head, and then boom, I wake up in my bed.
Dave has that ability too.
Huh.
Him and Mary have talked about it at Timer 30. About how they about how he, like, if he's having a bad dream, he just knows it's a dream and can stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've learned that skill, and I have to give credit to the movie Inception, because in that movie, when they're trying to wake up from a lair of the dream, they have to like have some kind of an accident, like something that throttles them, and I literally do that in the dream, and I literally wake up.
I was watching a video on how to have lucid dreams, and one of the tips they had was to do something while you're awake.
Mm-hmm.
Like ask yourself a question, or have an object like the top in Inception.
Yeah.
To where you will do that in your dream, and you will know that it's just a dream because you're not getting the same response that you would in the waking world.
We just got a donation, so we have to keep going.
All right.
Yeah, I literally, when the song ended, I went to go check my notifications just in case, and sure enough, there was one. So thanks to Jeremy Hale, we're gonna continue for a little bit longer.
I was gonna ask what the significance of 228 is, but then I saw the calendar.
Yeah, there you go. That's right.
So
I'm kind of
tomorrow. It won't just jump a penny. It'll jump 5, 4, 5, 3. Fuck, I can't math. Normally, I'm really good at math. Not tonight. Not so much. Well, so a donation means what? 10 more minutes?
Yeah. I mean,
cigarette?
Yeah, enough for another cigarette. We'll say that. I think we're gonna start saying that the amount of the donation kind of correlates into how much longer we go, and so for 228, that's like enough time for another cigarette.
Oh, okay.
I'm actually kind of surprised that I didn't get any more phone calls from Skype from any of the other members of the Goon Squad. But at this point, with it going on 10 o'clock my time, I don't know.
My time.
Yeah, I don't know if I have it in me to keep going. I made the mistake of doing that other show, that other program before this one, and so like I'm already I'm all streamed out. And then so tomorrow, So I don't stream on Tuesdays, but Tuesdays is the day that I put together the show for Wednesday night. Um, so yeah, I gotta get everything together.
Oh, so the old bassist of my old band.
Mm-hmm.
He's not a bassist, by the way. He's a guitar player. It's just
Yes.
he can play guitar better than our rhythm guitarist, but he could also play bass better than our rhythm guitarist.
Mm-hmm.
And the rhythm guitarist could play rhythm better than he could bass.
Yep.
So, I mean, as bands go, that's usually what happens is you end up not playing the instrument you want to play because you're better at another instrument everyone else sucks at.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
Yep.
anyway, we were talking and he's like, "Hey, you want to do a music podcast or something with me?" And I'm like, "You've had conversations with me. Yeah, I can have a conversation with someone, but is it interesting enough to like do a
Yeah.
weekly show?"
Yeah. Yeah. See,
Although he would take your side on the Beatles debate. He's not a fan of the Beatles.
well, see, the thing is this is something. This is the kind of conversation that happens for people who come to the live events that we do annually. This is not something that I usually talk about like on the air. When we've done the live shows in the past and, everything's wrapped up and we're done and people are just hanging out or we're going out to Ponchos or Waffle House or whatever, that's when shit gets really real and we'll talk about our, unrecorded, don't quote me conversations. And one of the things I've gotten from people many a times is, hey, I've been thinking about starting a podcast. Alan, what do you think? What do you
Fuck
think I
you,
should
Ryan.
do? I'm glad you saw. I wasn't gonna say anything. I'm glad you saw that. Um, people will ask me, hey, I'm thinking about starting a podcast. What do you think I should do? And what I have said to basically every single person who has asked me that is, I think you shouldn't do it. I think it'll be a huge waste of time and money. And if you're really jonesing to go blow, whatever, a few hundred, anywhere between a few hundred or a few $1,000s to set up a set to do a show, you should just not do your show and give me that money. Or somebody else, or fuck it, give it to Scott Horton, give it to somebody else. But we don't. At a bare minimum, if I thought that you were a really talented, really creative, really smart person and you were wanting to do a podcast, at a bare minimum, I would ask you, well, how's it going to be different? How's it going to be different than every other thing that's already out there? And because if you're just wanting to do a podcast to talk about, whatever, Austrian economics, or if you're wanting to do a podcast to talk about foreign policy, I'd be like, shit, dude. Like, think of the podcasts that you listen to about those subjects and go support them because they already exist and they already have some number of hundreds or thousands of episodes or whatever invested in it. And I promise you, there's a lot of people out there that do a lot of really good work and they don't get anywhere near the support you might think they do. So, for the love of God, don't go start another fucking podcast. Go support the ones that exist. I know
He's actually the third person who's asked me if I wanted to start a podcast with him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, are our conversations that great? Now, one of my friends that asked me, he's a I'm trying to think of the nicest way to say. He's a pothead, and so of course our conversations are fucking entertaining to him because he's always fucking high.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Of course, I'm funny when you're high. He quit smoking for like a month and he didn't laugh once at anything I said. And I'm like, dude, how can we have a podcast if you don't think I'm funny when you're sober?
Yeah. See, definitely not a Fed boy says we need more podcasts. No, we do not. I remember there was some random wannabe Lawbert influencer was on Twitter talking about how we need more podcasts, and I called them the R word, and I'm pretty sure they blocked me after that because we totally don't. The ones that exist don't get anywhere near enough support. So no, we don't. We totally don't need more. Ryan says, give money to Alan so he can pay Russian trolls to build his audience. Yeah, exactly. How am I gonna get these Twitch bots to advertise my channel if I don't have more funds? So yeah, absolutely. I have too many podcasts. I've run out of time to listen to them all. So see, that's actually another interesting thing too. There's a handful of questions, and I'm not talking about like viewer mail kind of tongue in cheek fun or personal questions. I'm talking about like questions that people ask me in person when they meet me. One of them is should I start a podcast? Another one is what podcast do you listen to? And my answer to that is basically none, because I make shit. I don't spend any time basically at all listening to other people's shows. I make shows. Um, I still catch the Tom Woods show. And I used to back years ago. I used to listen to the Tom Woods show like every episode. Now it's if I have time, if I'm commuting somewhere or in the morning in the shower or whatever, I'll listen to an episode of Tom Woods if he has a guest or a topic that I'm particularly interested in. Um, I mean, other than that, I listen or watch almost no shows. And I know that there's people out there that are like, well, you're a hypocrite then because you want people to support your show, but you don't. Yeah, but you know what? I'm a content creator. I need people to support my content. I'm not out here subscribing to 50 different people's Patreons because that puts me at a huge deficit, right? Like I need people subscribing to my Patreon, not me subscribing to everyone else's Patreon. Um, I will say this though, in my defense, if I was bringing in an amount of support far beyond my wildest dreams of goals for this show, I probably would then turn around and be taking a huge chunk of that excess and giving it away. Um, if I was making way north of what our fundraising goal is for the show, I absolutely would be subscribed to everybody, to 10th Amendment Center, uh, antiwar.com, Mises, everybody. I am subscribed to a few people, so it's not that I'm not subscribed to anybody. But I would be donating a lot more to a lot of the best people out there that I personally like, um, if we had that much support.
I just want to say for the record, because I covered my shoulders for
Mm-hmm.
you,
Mm-hmm.
I am sweating like a fucking pig.
How hot is it there, Aaron?
It got up to like the mid 70s today.
That's pretty good.
It's 74 in my apartment right now.
Oh yeah, that's too hot for indoors.
Yeah, I just turned back on the air conditioner. I turned it on when I got home, but it was uh it was making a lot of extra noise, so I turned it off before I
Mm-hmm.
called you. But
Yeah.
it was it was a nice it was a nice 69
Mm-hmm.
when I shut it off earlier.
Yeah. See, I have my studio upstairs here, and so because of the six lights, um, two monitors, floor lights projecting up on the backdrop and all that shit. It's easily like 15 degrees warmer in here right now than it is downstairs. Um, the first thing that I do when I cut stream is I shut all this shit off, and then I try to air out the upstairs, um, to get all the heat out that's generated from all this shit. Um, Police comma says it's below 60 in my place. I don't use the thermostat. Well, I don't know about below 60, but I mean, I'm really warm natured, so I prefer to keep it cool. So even in like a colder time of the year when it's colder outside, I won't turn the heat up above like 66. If the heater gets it up to 66, I'm cool with that.
It was like 52 today when I took off all my coats at work. There was
Wow.
like no breeze. I mean, it's there's always wind here. There was nothing today, and it was
Mm,
just hot.
yeah.
It was just it was weird. It was unnatural.
Well, hey, you finished your cigarette. We're gonna play the song again.
Yeah, I finished my cigarette.
All right. I think we're probably gonna be done this time though, because I'm coming up on 2 hours. I'm kind of worn out. I still have to ride my bike after this.
I walked 15 miles today.
Fuck yeah, dude.
I walk 15 miles almost every day.
Yeah, I basically my routine is about 5. I try to do about 5 days a week, sometimes 6, but 5 to 6 days a week. I will ride about 45 minutes to an hour on a bike, and I maintain a pace of about 28 miles an hour. So the time that it takes me to watch like an hour-long TV show, I'll ride the bike and maintain about 28 miles per hour. And I mean, that's good for me. If I keep that going every week from now to June 4th, then I mean, it's easy for me to be in my summer shape by the time that day gets here. And of course, I have to be, because we're going to have a fuck ton of cookout shit and a dessert bar and Mexican food and everything else that weekend.
Did you mention that the show's June 4th?
I did. Hey guys, check
in
this out.
Bon Aqua, Tennessee.
Yeah, hold on. I gotta move all this stuff. There you go, guys. It's June 4th. It's the 4th annual It's Too Late live show, hosted by yours truly and David Mary of Liberty Late Night at the private Bon Aqua Computer Club in Bon Aqua, Tennessee. That is June 4th. Get your tickets today. All right, there you go.
Wait, hold on.
All right.
Let me.
Are you gonna post some links?
Yeah. Let's see here. Yeah, get your tickets. There we go.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, find Skype again. Okay, there we go.
Yeah. All right, perfect. Definitely not a Fed boy. What are your thoughts on Molotov cocktails? Seem dangerous. I told everybody though that you can get magnesium metal powder and silver nitrate on Amazon, and all you got to do is mix those together and then drop a drop of water, and basically you've created a flashbang grenade. So
I personally hate Molotov cocktails.
They don't taste very good.
Well, because Molotov was a communist general and fuck commies.
Yeah, exactly.
He made terrible at cocktails.
Cocktails and Moscow mules and white Russians. See, I'm not a drinker, so that's all gibberish to me.
I'm lactose intolerant, so white Russians just sound like a bad case of diarrhea.
Yeah, exactly.
But drunken diarrhea. Like when you're on the toilet and you can't sit still, you end up falling off and making your bathroom look like Taco Bell's bathroom.
I can thankfully say that I've never had that problem. Again, I'm not the kind of person that gets drunk. I'm the person that just dies of alcohol poisoning. So, I've never had that problem. I've also never died, so that's also pretty good.
One of my friends has that condition. He would drink with us and never get drunk.
Yeah.
He'd smoke weed, never get high. I just don't do that stuff because I don't like losing control of my faculties. I'm I'm a control freak, so the idea of reduced inhibitions, I don't like that. That makes me scared.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I get that. So, I mean, that's totally me. I guess I'm just like super, super, super high tolerance to chemicals. I mean, I'm a pretty straight-laced person. I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't do drugs. And yet I've been in situations where I've told people, I don't really get high. I've tried edibles and stuff because I don't smoke. I've tried edibles; they didn't do anything for me. And I was at a dinner party once where they were like, "Oh no, we've got the good shit." Like they had these like graham cracker crazy ass things that were loaded with THC. And the whole everyone there at this party were people who are regulars, if you will, and they all took one, and I did too, and all of them were laid out, and I got in my car and drove back to my hotel. Like it just didn't do anything for me. So either I'm the unluckiest guy that ever lived, and I'm getting shitty product, or it just doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
But on that note, the song's over, Aaron. I think we're done.
All right.
I think we're out of here. Um, but this was fun. I'm glad that you could join, even though you had to melt underneath a pullover. So I apologize for that. But guys, make sure to tune in to Liberty Late Night tomorrow night on Float and perhaps Twitter as well. I think they're going to be on there as well for their Tuesday night free for all. What do they call their Tuesday night?
Tuesday Night Anarchy.
Tuesday Night Anarchy. There you go. And then
it's Twitch, not Twitter.
oh yeah, Twitch.
You won't find them on Twitter.
They're on Twitter. They just don't do anything on Twitter. And then catch us here Wednesday night, 9 o'clock Eastern Time, 8 o'clock Central, for the latest episode of It's Too Late. We might have a guest, we might not. It's going to be kind of down to the wire. Either they're going to be joining us basically live that night, or we're going to record with them like next week and plug it in. I'm not sure yet, but it is a pretty big guest that's going to be our net guest. And we're just a couple of weeks away from episode 200 that will also have a pretty big guest. So we got a lot of cool shit coming up. But anyway, Aaron, thanks buddy for joining me. Guys, we will see you in a little bit less than 48 hours. See you later.
Bye.